Good evening. Good evening. Oh, my friends. Oh, my friends. It has been since July 31st, since we last visited the No Guts, No Story. July 31st. It has been a while, my friends. So please drop a comment. Let me know you're here. Hi, Nana Lou. It's so good to see your name. All right. Oh, I have a ticker. I have a scrolling ticker that I want to. Let's go. The No Guts, No Story, chapter 6. We're doing 2 chapters tonight because I believe the chapters from here on out get shorter. They just get shorter. They're not better, I don't think. They just get shorter. Now, Michelle, likely. Okay, so here we go. Hey, so where do we leave off? Carrie, I love Carrie and Nana are like my diehards. I appreciate you guys so much. Honestly, I don't remember. I think she took an entire chapter to just talk about how she ended up being in an MLM like permanently. And the last 2 sentences of chapter 5 were list on paper 50 things you would love to do in the next 5 to 10 years. Of these 50 dreams, so it goes from things to do, things you would love to do, and then dreams. Which 5 are the most important to you? Hey, Valerie, I am back. All right, so let's just get into numbers to chapter 6 of No Guts, No Story. Don't let anyone steal your dreams. It's not always easy to keep your vision when things are not positive in your current situation. One of the hardest things I had to learn was how to stay focused on my dreams and not let the distractions, the setbacks, or the disappointments stop me from pursuing my mission. I will never forget my little brother, who was in his early teens, came over to the house that first week where he saw the photos of the new cars and homes on the refrigerator. Again, I just have to make comment that the sentence structure is so bad. And I say this as okay, I'm the daughter of an English teacher, but writing, I'm not bad at writing. I'm really good at writing about what I care about. So like writing about like psychology is going to be super, well, not easy, but like it's going to flow easier for me than music was. Um, but I can at least identify a really bad put together sentence. Hey, cool gamer. Good to see you. All right. Sorry if that felt really fake. I'm sorry. That felt super fake. All right. It was not fake. I did not intend to be fake. I had tried to convince my family to get involved, and most of them thought I was totally nuts. So here we see Barb trying to convince her family to join her MLM. Let me kick my feet up here. All right. It was that month that our car got towed away by the repo company. I don't mean to laugh at that. But that's all part of the story that is fed to us is I was in the worst situation of my life when I joined my MLM and saw my millions come rolling in. Okay. I'm going to try not to interrupt. Okay. The first thing out of his mouth that day was, I thought your millionaire friend was going to pay your car off for you. What happened to that deal? I wanted to slap him, but I didn't. I loved him. You never slapped someone you loved? My God. My daughter kicked my son in the face and they love each other. Okay. He was my little brother. How could he be so mean? Because they're brothers and you're in a scam. Okay. He couldn't have intentionally stuck a knife in my heart and hurt my feelings like that on purpose, could he? Barb, he asked you where your millionaire friend was. He didn't stick a knife in your heart. Speaking as someone who has a like $75,000 theater degree hanging on my wall behind me, don't be so dramatic. Okay. He couldn't have okay, sorry. He must have heard some of the adults in my mom's house talking. After all, he was just 13 years old. Right, he's 13. He didn't have any reason to be worrying about me getting my car paid off. Well, if your 13-year-old brother saw your car get dragged away by a repo company, I don't think he realized how passionate I was about this business and the desire I had to make it work. Nobody knew that I was having sleepless nights of stress and worry over the hole we had dug for ourselves while starting those 5 businesses. I'm sure my family didn't realize that I sat up at night balancing my checkbook and crying as I looked in on those little babies and wondered if there was any chance that Dave and I could achieve our dreams and get out of our current situation. Nobody knows what you're going through. They just see, you know what? Everybody says that. And it's the people who are the worst. Hey, Mish, it is the people who are the worst who like they'll treat you like garbage. They will treat you like garbage, and then they'll post on Instagram, be like, you never know what somebody's going through, so be kind. Except for when you're right and you want to be a bitch. Like that, like, do you notice that? Oh God. They just see things as they are on the outside. We looked good on the outside. We had a good business. Never mind that we were there from sun up until sundown. I just don't understand how you have 5 good businesses, but you're up all night balancing the checkbook and crying. That's not the sign of a good. Now, granted, I've never owned a business, but that's not the sign of a good business to me. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I did own a business. I was a perfectly posh consultant. Never mind that we were up from sunup to sundown. We had good, dependable vehicles to get us down the road, hauling all of our homemade goods to the next show. But you thought you just had a car get repoed. Whatever. We lived in a decent house and it was clean and neat. However, it was not our house. We had to rent to own agree. We had a rent to own agreement. Okay, that's sometimes things are not as they seem. Okay, quit saying the same thing. She's literally just saying the same thing. Sounds Trumpy. Sure does sound Trumpy. If you think successful people who are busy with their careers aren't always happy. Mm, I'm successful and I am so effing happy. So, well, I guess she's saying aren't always happy. So I guess I must be the minority. If you think of a successful person that you know, compare them to this situation and think to yourself, do they have debt? Well, Trump does, yeah. Do they work long hours? Trump seems to never stop working. Do they have children? Do they have time to spend with them? Well, depends on if they're in the business. Do they get to do what they want when they want, or does their business own them? We were successful, but we were on the road to nowhere, working long hours without time to spend with our children or each other. The bank got its money most of the time, and everyone else got paid. But that is not success. Okay, so I just want to be clear though that when she's talking about how much time she spends on her business and her business is good, but they're still struggling, and then they're in network marketing now, and all we see from people in network marketing is them consistently, constantly, all the time, live on Facebook, working, building their team, missing the birth of their granddaughters because they have to go deal with the merger, the non acquisition. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, except in the other one, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Our neighbor lady was our neighbor lady was always home sitting on her front porch, rocking her little ones in the swing when I would come home. In the morning, she would be picking fresh flowers out of her perfect garden in her front yard. As I drove off to work, I would notice our front screen door swinging in the wind or a diaper blowing across the yard because some dog had dumped over our tree. I always compared myself to our other neighbors. Boy, you said you had a nice house that was clean and neat, but now you're describing a swinging front door and diapers flying everywhere. Like, pick a narrative, pick a lane and stay in it, because right now you're bowling on lane 10, but you are throwing your ball into every single lane and pissing off every other league. So like, I need you to pick a mother effing lane, okay? Uh, what I didn't compare was my ability to survive and do whatever it took to never say, settle for mediocrity. Well, I've seen your husband. I had a big, okay, I'm sorry, that was me. I apologize. I had big dreams, and I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. What a trope. I was tired of watching the neighbors play in their yards as I worked an 80-hour week and then packed up to leave for a show on the weekend. I would dream of the day I could buy a new stroller or some brand new shoes for our kids instead of being the first one to the garage sale in the nice area of town on Saturday mornings. Honestly, why are you shitting on garage sales? Like, diaper blowing in the wind is the lane. True story. Why are you shitting on garage sales? I love garage sales. Do not shit on garage sales, okay? Her balls are likely monogrammed. Nana, you're killing me. Um, why not me? It was at that point that I got good and mad. Good and mad. My little brother had no idea what he did for me that day, but he laughed at me and mentioned the car being repossessed. He didn't mention it, he talked about it. I plugged in a tape and listened to it that day. It was titled, Don't Let Anyone Steal Your Dreams. Well, that's what you titled this chapter. Cute. Our mentor in the business was from Chicago, Illinois. He drove a Rolls Royce and had a Learjet that he had on standby when the car couldn't get him to his destination quickly enough. Oh. His girlfriend drove a two-seater Mercedes 50 SL, and he was very vocal about those friends who made fun of him. Sounds like the nerd in high school with small dick syndrome. In fact, on one tape, he talked about driving by a friend's house who had told him he would never make it, saying to himself, "How's Kmart?" as he passed through the town where he did this guy like intentionally this guy intentionally drive past this. I'd be like, "How's Kmart?" Got him. Like who is that for? Because sorry, I'm like shaking with us. Who is that for? Because that's not for him. That guy's probably got Kmart working and getting paid for his time. Okay. Oh my God. Maybe we're not going to get to chapter 7 if I don't shut the hell up. Yeah, I thought to myself, that's how all of the people who are telling me I'm crazy are going to feel when I pull up in that new car and move to a nicer neighborhood. Yeah, except she lives in Russell. Sorry. Yeah, that'll be me laughing all the way to the bank someday if I can just get someone to join me in this venture. If I can just get somebody else that I can scam. I do too, Miss Kmart. Carrie, I'm telling you, when our Kmart went out of business, I bought some stuff, okay? Um, I was running out of people to call, so I did what the training said and decided to take their advice, even though my way seemed easier. Instead of inviting people to a meeting they didn't want to come to, I decided to get in the car and go to them because I don't take no for an answer. I'm adding that. I'm just adding my own little repartee. I couldn't do it without listening to the money tree story, of course. That always got me pumped and ready and not thinking about the fear of rejection. I decided my first stop would be the lumber yard. Dave and I had an account at the lumber yard for our craft supplies we used each month. We would cut out 150 snowmen on Monday and sell them all by Friday. So you were selling. So we were good customers of theirs. This was a scary stop because the owner and his wife were very successful. Unlike many of the people I had tried to talk to into coming over to my house in an attempt to save them. Is that even facetious? Like, is she? Jesus. In my attempt to save them, I was going for broke. So this was definitely a couple on my chicken list. Chicken. What's a chicken list? Did your Kmart sell drugs, Mallory? The way you said I got some stuff. No, I just mean like I got a lot of things. We waited. We got the ultrasound that Margaret was a girl, like with 3 days left of Kmart closing. And we went in there and cleaned house and it was great. And then we got some stuff. Just kidding. We did not get drugs. That would be really shitty. I mean, there was a pharmacy there. Anyhow, I know I was sweating, even though it was late February and cold as ice outside. Yeah, cold as, I mean, there probably was ice because ice. I walked into the store, asked a kid who was, do you imagine that she's like running? She's like cold as ice. Oh, that's good. That's good. I walked into the store, asked a kid who was one of several in their big family for the store owner, and entered his office. sentence is very strange. Asked a kid who was one of several in their big family for the store owner and entered his office. I could rewrite that sentence like a million different ways. The paneling was out. Well, you know what, Carrie? You're probably lost because I'm all over the place with my commentary. So that's probably why. The paneling was outdated, and I still remember the lines in it thinking, I wonder why they don't fix it up since they have a huge store out there. His dad owned many businesses just a few miles from Russell. If this guy would get in, everybody would do it. I hardly took a breath. I just went into my spiel. I know you were going to think I'm crazy because I can hardly believe it myself. You know how hard we work? Dave and I don't have a lot of time or money to do anything extra on top of what we were doing, right? Well, Dave and I fell into something and I think we are going to get rich. I've been in several companies before and I swore I'd never join another one, but Dave got us involved and we are already making money. Sure doesn't sound like it based on everything you just said. Sounds like you're lying. Sounds like you are openly admitting to lying to someone here. This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I only have a minute, but I wanted to give you and your wife a chance to get involved on our top level. You were the first ones I thought of. That was true, but 46 people later, I finally got the nerve to go there. Cute. He didn't say a thing until I finished. Then he said, my wife will kill me. We were in another deal and we got really burned. But if you can convince her, I'm in. Wow, I thought. He wants to look at it, but his wife is going to shoot us down. What should I do? I went home as fast as I could, and I called Dave to let him know we had to get back to town. Bert, our sponsor, was on his way from Missouri, and he was a fairly quiet guy. Definitely not one who wanted to do the presenting, but Dave believed him. So why couldn't they go to do the meeting together? I set it up for 7:30 p.m. and I told them how excited our prospect was for them to come. Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat. This is riveting. This couple had just built a beautiful new home on the edge of town. At 7:30, Dave and Bert headed to the meeting. Well, the meeting was at 7:30, so you're already late, Barb. Michelle, we don't know what the product is. I'm assuming maybe Amway. I don't know. But she, instead of getting people to come to her house for meetings, she's going to them. Okay. I think it's Amway. I don't know. Okay. So what I'm establishing though is that she said the meeting was at 7:30 and she wrote at 7:30, David and Brent headed to the meeting. So they're going to be late. Okay. I was home with the babies praying that all would go well with the guys at the meeting and she wouldn't skin them. How would they convince her? I have an idea, but it doesn't belong on this website. After all, we were talking about two bull riders going to the home of two highly educated, successful people. She was finishing her degree in teaching, and he was the son of a multimillionaire many times over. It was a long night, and as I waited, I worried. What was taking them so long? 3 hours later, I could hear the laughter in the driveway as that noisy furniture-hauling diesel Ford truck was turned off and the door slammed. I couldn't believe it. These two cowboys walked in with not just one application, but 5. Dave and Bert had managed to sponsor the couple who got so excited after seeing the video that they immediately called 4 of their closest friends. Their 4 friends all gave their credit card and social security cards right over the phone. What in the hell? Michelle, hold on. Michelle, you know what I'm not going to say. 2 men going to convince the wife. Okay. They gave their here's my credit card and social security card. Right. And why put that detail in a book? Why would you add that? So they looked into literally everything and wrote a book about how anyone can do it. Let me find where I left off. Okay. Social security cards. How did they do it? The only reason I urged Dave and Bert to go in my place was because I was scared of the wife. Well, because you're a scammer. I thought I was natural born salesperson who could talk to anyone. And here they came back with 5 applications after a 1 hour presentation and a couple hours of conversation. I almost had a heart attack. It was the last day of the month, and the end of the month was when bonus checks were figured. There was no internet, and there were only so many phone lines available. We hooked up our fax machine and started faxing in applications. We were in the money now. I was excited. I had the social security numbers of 5 strangers. Excitement and belief that the business would work had created more income in that 1 hour than I normally made in take home pay in an entire week. So you made more money in 1 hour from recruiting than from actual work. Okay, so thank you for admitting that this is a pyramid scheme. Excitement and belief that the business would work had created more income. Oh, I already said this. The new couple had 4 people, and I was just getting my third position filled with their application. How could we let them pass us up? We were on fire, and we were ready to get the next person. This was so much fun. I had a lot of videos that I sent out. And if any of those people would be interested, that might be a possibility for our number 4. It had been so much fun sponsoring the couple from our chicken list. I decided I would send one to my rich uncle. In fact, Dave and I decided we would just get in the car and go see him. We loaded up and drove 3 hours from home to Wichita, Kansas on the last day of the month. All of it? Like this all happened in one day? Okay. My mom's brother was always successful and lived in a nice cul-de-sac. Is a cul-de-sac like a measurement of success? Like I know a lot of people like a I would have loved to live in a cul-de-sac. Why? Is that a and why like mention it anyhow? He made a fortune with his boss, who was a real estate guru. We drove into his fancy gated neighborhood with our 2 small babies and our video. He was very nice as we watched the video and talked about the problems he and my grandpa experienced with their weight loss company. His wife is not excited that he was looking at another company. She mentioned their neighbors and friends who were so upset about the company they built because they thought the company had changed all the rules on them. I remained enthusiastic as I encouraged them to think about this and take a position in our downline so they could get in at a good spot. I was doing all I could to get them signed up. They showed some interest but did not join that night. My uncle was the authority our entire family looked up to. My mom, as a single mom raising 5 children, oh, right, her dad left. Right, okay, I forgot all about that. Always consulted my uncle before she made any decisions. I just knew he was going to join. If he would join, mom would follow before we knew what happened. So you're just you're just trying to get your entire family in your downline. It's so cringy. Honestly, also, like, can you imagine getting a job and then trying to get your entire family to work there? No, 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 no. Do not come to work with me. I will see you at the picnic. Leave me alone. A few days went by and our group was starting to grow on its own. My days were busy before, but now I woke up to tapes, did my motherly duties, went to work for 8 hours or 10 hours, picked up the kids, took them to a new sitter or to Nana, and then we headed out to find someone to show this video to. Hey, you want to watch a video? It was tough to leave them every night, but Dave and I had made a commitment. Our commitment was that we would show this plan to 3 to 5 times a week personally until we replaced our income. That month of February, we ended with 3 personally sponsored recruits we call executives. The total in our group, with our friend who sponsored 4 and Dave's mom, who had sponsored 2, grew those 9 to a total of 12. And we didn't even know all of them. Our friend who sponsored 4 and Dave's mom, who had sponsored 2. It was a long winter at the craft store, and the haircuts always slow down in January and February when it's cold in Kansas. Thank goodness we had a check coming soon so that we would be able to pay some of our bills. I was hoping it would come soon and praying it would clear the bank. With 12 people in our group, we were still working to get our fourth personal recruit signed up. We were still working to get our fourth personal or recruit signed up. Finally, my sponsor from the granddaddy of them all network marketing companies came over to the house with his wife. So is this Amway? This is Amway, right? He and his wife had been friends of mine for several years prior to my moving to Wyoming with Dave. So this is like a completely different person. We had gone to function after function together. I could remember driving home with him from the Kansas University campus after doing cosmetic parties for all of the sorority girls on campus. He had taken me to see Zig Ziglar at Wichita, Kansas when I was just 19 years old. Okay, but you're like 23 now. So I was excited that this couple was serious about it and they committed to take our last position on our top level. We finally had our four. That month, when we had sponsored a total of a maximum of 4 people with Chris, Cindy, Russ, and Jeff on our top level, the next 3 people we sponsored spilled over to fill the spots of people under us. They happened to spill under the manicurist who hadn't done much in the business. Since she was single and very attractive, she had a busy social life. Nightly, she was being bombarded with negative people who were sucking the life out of her. That's all they were starting. She was scared to ask anyone else after the first person she sponsored who had joined with pure excitement at her manicure table. The woman just gave her the credit card and said, "Put me in." She managed a successful bar and restaurant in town. That night, when the woman went home excited about her new venture, her husband demanded that she get out. He said, "Those kinds of things do not work." Chris took that seriously and was scared to ask anyone else. The great thing was that it didn't matter. We had people spilling into her group, and as my friend, I could assure her there was no way to lose. She was going to start earning commissions as people ordered the products. The company we were involved in had a limited top level. There were a lot of great companies out there, and every compensation plan varies. In most companies, if you never sponsor anyone, you never have the ability to earn a bonus check. Yes, Barb, that's why this is a pyramid scheme. The way this one worked was very intriguing. It was a 4x7 matrix, which didn't mean much to me, except I understood that everyone you sponsored after the first 4 would spill into your group under the ones that joined before them. Okay. This group of people would form an organization called your downline. Well, right. Some people might end up with a downline that was growing from the spillover, even if they only bought and sold products for themselves, but never sponsored anyone. At first, that's what got me excited. I thought we would just get in, sit, and let our upline spill us full. Sounds really gross. Once I realized our sponsor joined the same night Dave did, I got a little nervous about waiting for a spill. We didn't have time to wait. We needed to make some serious money, or we were going to have egg on our face in our hometown because we had 5 businesses that were barely treading water. But sounds like you were doing good because earlier you said you were doing good. We had made a commitment to build our business no matter what. If people said no, we learned to say next. It was up to me to convince them. It was just up to me to find 3 or 4 people who had a vision. Some joined and quit, and others joined and did nothing. Everyone bought products, and that was good because the only way to make an income was from the movement of products. Lesson learned. I can't talk. Focus on new blood. The new blood is the lifeblood of your business. She literally just has a quote here and doesn't say who. Is this her quote? All right, that's the end of chapter 6. Let's take a quick break. Let's take a real quick break. Let me catch up on these. Let me catch up on some comments here. So she is now admitting that she stabbed Chris because she was her friend, when she theoretically could have helped people who are actually working make money. Hey, Mermeow. Now she's explaining a confusing comp plan. Yeah, no, I don't understand the comp plan. It's just stupid. It's just all stupid. All right. Is that enough of a break? Let's all right, you ready? Chapter 7. Let me just make sure that this is as short as I believe it to be. Oh yeah, super short. This is not even a chapter. This is okay. Chapter 7. Don't let what others think keep you from. Let me try this again. Don't let what others think keep you from achieving your dream. Don't let what others think keep you from achieving your dreams. Dave and I grew up in Russell, Kansas. We know. Shut up, Michelle. Being from this small town made it tough not to think about other people and what they were saying about you. My favorite definition of status put me in denial that I ever had it, but I did. And I had a serious case of it. Status. Spending money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people you don't like who really don't care anyway. Oh, Michelle. I mean, not Michelle Barb. I was going to read your comment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long I'll be on tonight. I'm just going to read chapter 7, chit chat for a little while. If anybody wants to talk, and then I'm going to go watch TV. It was mid-March, and our business was really starting to build. I was so thankful that it was going to work. There are 3 days that stand out vividly in my mind from that first year. One was the day Dave joined and had a meeting that nobody attended. The second day I will never forget was the day that Uncle Frank called. Dave hollered at me to come to the phone. Uncle Frank had called and wanted to visit with me. This was amazing. He was actually calling me back. I remember sitting on a warm radiator in the hallway of our old Victorian home, juggling my kids as they crunched up Ritz crackers on our hunter green carpet. You should probably just try juggling balls or scarves. Brooklyn was on the floor. Chance was on my lap. Like, if she's on the floor, you didn't juggle her very well. And I held the phone under my chin as I rocked him back and forth, nursing him and trying to keep Brooklyn happy. Oh my God. Uncle Frank sounded very serious as he encouraged me to listen. Barb, the company you are in is a scam, and the Securities Exchange Commission, SEC, is going to shut it down. You need to get out. Get out now and try to get your money back. The guy you think is so great is an ex-con for credit card fraud. What is happening in this? Where are we going? Okay. And he's been in prison. You must get out right away before anyone else gets involved. He was serious and had me scared to death. I felt sick. My stomach was rolling. We had just got a notice that our first check for $899 would arrive any day now. According to customer service, we had close to 59 people in our group, and we had only sponsored 7. What should I do? I looked at Dave, and he was curious as to what could possibly be wrong. I told him the news, and he immediately called our sponsor and our upline from Nebraska. Before long, we were on the phone with the company, and I asked for the top leader in our organization. Of course, he was not available to talk. I thought my call was urgent enough I could get through, but evidently, he had to be making the big bucks to get through to him. Oh, we had to be making the big bucks to get through to him. They put me on the phone with his assistant. That day, I learned a very valuable lesson that kept me from quitting for the second time. It seems like every day I would go through this emotional roller coaster of I love it, I hate it, I love it, I hate it, I love it. I immediately had word vomit as I panicked on the phone and couldn't stop talking to the young assistant about everything I had heard about our mentor being an ex-con. His assistant tried to settle me down as he assured me it would all be okay. It is true, but there is nothing to worry about. Your mentor made some bad decisions in his life and lost his freedom for a few years. It was then that he began reading personal development books and turned his life around. Listen, I'm all for criminals making life choices and turning them around. But if your life choice that you're turning around is a scam, you didn't turn it around. Okay. The kid on the phone poured his heart out to me about the owners of the company and their integrity. The assistant told us his story of how our mentor and this company had changed his life. He explained that as an independent distributor, our mentor had created millions of dollars. Prior to joining this company, the assistant was a waiter living in a rundown apartment. He persuaded me to have thick skin and understand that all MLM companies or opportunities go through scrutiny during different times in their careers. Is an MLM opportunity? Okay. He said that our company was being scrutinized by the SEC because people were making such tremendous incomes. He said that we basically had two choices. We could trust our mentor and continue to build our business by taking advice from someone making $150,000 a month. Or we could listen to our friends who couldn't make that in a year. There was nothing he could do but assure us that he was still building his business, and he encouraged us to do the same. However, the Wall Street Journal had an article in it that month about our company and the investigations it was under. I could not believe this was happening. I went to the backyard to let the kids play so I could have a break to ponder the things I had been told. I watched Brooklyn swinging on the swings as Chance tried to stand up and walk around the yellow plastic slide that wound up to her wooden loft of the swing set. He was such a handful of energy. At 6 months old, he was finally starting to sleep a little and not cry so much on his colic. I loved playing with them in the backyard. They were so close in age. It was almost like having twins. I sat there on the edge of the swing, praying that things would work out for us. Each day, as I dropped them off at the sitter, it was getting harder and harder to leave them. Brooklyn was singing songs and saying full sentences while she ran around like a big girl. Although just 18 months earlier, she was less than 5 pounds and all I could ever want. And now she's not all you could ever want. That's a weird thing to say. With Chance coming so quickly after her, I used to wonder how it could get any better than it was right now. And if I could ever be that happy with a second child being born. What? That is a very weird. The minute? Oh, okay. Oh, see, the way that she wrote that sentence was super unclear. She was saying the minute she found out that she was pregnant, she wondered how could things get better than they were before he was born. But she didn't say it that way. So I didn't know. The minute Chance was born, my life changed forever because your life has changed forever 1,000 times. The miracle of these two beautiful babies was so much to be thankful for. I had healthy children, a wonderful husband, and I dreamed of our future together, raising our family. I reflected back to the days of life when life was much slower as I sat at home in the rocking chair waiting for Dave to get home one Friday night from the rodeo. What's your worst fear? I want to call anyone names, so I'm going to bite my tongue about Dave. Ugh, yeah. I don't know. That's my worst. I don't know what your worst fear is, Michelle. Having a second child because of how I feel about Otto. Oh, well, right. But the way that she worded it, I didn't know what she meant. But yes, don't worry, Michelle. If you have a second child, Margot's the best. And Dean is also the best, but like Margot's my girl. Okay. But Dean's not. They both have my heart. So don't worry. You can share your heart. It is possible. Where the hell am I? Don't worry. There's not much left. Okay. Now my life was a whirlwind of paying bills, doing housework, teaching dance classes, going to craft shows, working full days at my salon to give people haircuts and chemical treatments, while running a coffee bar and consignment store, and returning to two babies who needed me at the end of the day. Literally, there's no way that you do all that in one day. You don't. There wasn't much time left for Dave and me, and that was the part that we missed so much. Now that we were in this business, we were excited about something that could give us back our time. If I could turn back time. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't dare let my kids see me sad. My kids have seen me sad, and I think it's important that you let your children see you experience emotions. I think that there's an appropriate amount, an appropriate time and place, and it's also depending on what you're crying about, but let your children see you sad. They need to know that sadness is an emotion, that it is okay for them to have because they've seen you model it. Sorry, I just went on like a little bit of a parenting tangent there. I pushed them on the swings and sang the Barney song with Brooklyn as she giggled. Ugh. I love you, you love me. We're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? You're welcome for that earworm for the rest of your life. That crazy purple dinosaur had her convinced that he loved her. And it seemed like every mom in America was singing it along with their kids. Maybe Barney was in network marketing? I don't know. But whatever he did for a career couldn't be nearly as stressful as the rest of the world when he wrote those lyrics. What? Whatever he did for a career, he's Barney the dinosaur. He's Barney the dinosaur. Whatever he did for a career couldn't be as stressful as the rest of the world when he wrote those lyrics. What does that mean? That sentence doesn't even make sense. Does she think Barney is real? She must. I think I just clicked it. It made me laugh, and they made me smile. No matter what happened, I was one lucky mama. So let's just remember that Barney the dinosaur made it in this book, and we think that she might think Barney is real. Does she think Barney is real? I think so. I noticed the guy from the lumber yard was delivering some goods to the lady across the street, the beautiful yard I always admired. I could tell he was telling her about the new business venture we were in together, and that she should join us. I slid down the side of the house so I could listen to their conversation just in time to hear her inform him of the fact she watched the city put disconnect notices on our doors and the repo company take our cars away. Okay. How dare you assume Barney didn't have a stressful career? That is the comment of the night. Is it Katya? If I was in any kind of position to like do a giveaway, I would give you something for that. That was I need to screenshot this. How dare you assume Barney didn't have a stressful career? Amazing. Okay, and then so she's saying that her neighbor is telling him that she watched the city put disconnect notices on our doors and the repo company take our cars away. So did the company take both cars away? I'm confused. Her husband worked for a very well-respected oil company, and he would never allow her to do something like that. She urged him to think about what he was doing. I watched him get in his delivery truck and drive off, and I started to cry. Why was this happening? Why me? Was I doing something wrong? Or was it just part of the test to see if I really had what it takes to make it? I wasn't sure I could handle much more. And I was worried about Dave. He had never done anything like this. In fact, he didn't even know what network marketing was until 2 months ago. He was getting a whole new education on the realities of the business, and this is exactly what made me so skeptical about it in the first place. It was a little late to worry about getting our friends involved, now that 50 plus people were coming to the local Elks Club that next week to meet the big guy from Nebraska. I had my attorney coming. Our car salesman was coming, even though your car was repossessed. And my salon radio ad salesman had joined just because Dave handed him an audio cassette. In fact, the ad salesman left the salon, drove 5 miles out of town, turned around in the median, and came running into the store saying, I've waited all of my life for something like this to come along. Dave made it look so easy, and everyone he talked to had an interest. Why was I so emotional about the whole thing? The difference between Dave and me is that he had no doubts. Doubt never entered his mind. Therefore, he was like ignorance on fire, and it was working for him. That night, Dave went to do a meeting, and he never missed a beat. He drove to do a meeting about 2 hours west, and I drove to Salina, Kansas, just 1 hour east, even though our cars had been repossessed. We drove. We don't know where we got the cars from, but repossessed cars didn't stop us. I took the 2 babies and my mother-in-law with me. We did our meeting in the basement of a Salina hospital because the room was free. The basement of a hospital? Hey, Mom, I'm going to go to this opportunity. It's in the basement of the hospital. Yeah, I promise I'm not going to get hepatitis. The 2 people at the meeting were in, and nobody they invited showed up. I could relate to them, and I encouraged them. They could go from 0 to 59 in a month, but they had to show the plan, even if they went to the people themselves. They laughed at me as I told them about my month. They must have believed me because they set a meeting for me to come the next Tuesday, and I agreed. Why is it always on Tuesday? They must have believed me, even though I was lying through my teeth. It was a long drive home, but a good one. This gave me an hour to listen to tape. She's also with her children and her mother-in-law, but she's like, let me listen to these tapes. This gave me an hour to listen to tapes and try to make some positive deposits after the next day that I had just experienced. Next time I listen to a podcast, Michelle, I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna go get some positive deposits to put in my brain. Sorry, if that's something that people say, I don't say that. I listened to the same tape and I heard a whole different story this time. I guess I needed it pretty badly. This was becoming my favorite title. Don't let anyone steal your dreams. I waited at home for Dave to see how his meeting went. He mentioned that some people had questions about the scrutiny, but there were about 15 people at his meeting, and all of them were fired about, and all of them were fired up about the future they had ahead of them. This roller coaster ride was working its way back to the top. I felt pretty good that night as we laid there talking until the early morning hours. I couldn't sleep. Dave couldn't sleep. So we just got up. And that's the end of the chapter. That's it. The chapter's over. Chapter 8 is called Action Cures Fear. Let me see how long that one is. This one's a little longer. Not much longer. Chapter 9 is called No Excuses. We're doing it. Oh my God, these chapters are so short now. I mean, I can probably start knocking out 2 chapters a night. These are, oh my God. Guys, the book has pictures. The book has pictures. This is my problem. It's the constant change of person, of narration, like first person, third person. The caption on this picture says, Newlyweds Barb and Dave Pidcock with Dave's brother Scott, his best man in our wedding. Oh. Look. There's the trailer called Guys and Dolls. We got some pictures, kids. Oh, that's right. She had like a crate. Sorry, I'm like reading this and not sharing it with you. There's a picture of her in the ICU. Picture of the cabin. Picture of their miracle baby. Dave and I with our sponsor, Bert Leach. His last name, guys, his last name is Leach. Bert Leach. Michelle, are you at your computer yet? Can you look up Bert Leach? Because I will be in a moment. 3 babies in 4 years. Our family. Oh my God. Lifestyles magazine. Oh my God. A monthly publication for Nutrition for Life International. Look at this. They were the cover photo on an MLM magazine. Guys, I got fired by some famous people. This is. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at this senior year glamour shot. Like, let's just enjoy. Like, she's pretty. She's a pretty woman. But let's just enjoy this 1989. Like, that's the glamour shots of the day. Oh man. Guys, the chapters aren't long. We can knock it out. We can do it. We'll do it. I'll be back soon. All right. So Katia, let me catch up on these comments, but honestly, nothing is better than how dare you assume Farmington, which I'm just the best. Oh no, Mallory, what? Kansas pronounces Selena. What did I say? Did I not? What did I say? Did I not say Selena? I said Selena. What are you talking about? The basement of a Selena hospital. Oh, Salina. Salina. Nope. I really didn't see that it said IE. I just was seeing E. Salina? No. That sounds like saliva. Let's see. I think they just said see you next Tuesday. Yes, they did. They come to the next Tuesday. But I think they said it earlier too. Hospital basement. Is that where the morgue is? Right? I'm assuming that it's in a morgue. I need you to scan those for me. And I seriously, oh yeah, for sure. I'll do it. I might not do it tonight, but if you remind me in the morning, because I just have to sit here and do lots of clickety clickety as I upload assignments and videos. So yeah, I can do it tomorrow while I clickety clacky. So that's saliva morgue. All right, so that is that's chapter. Oh my God, I don't know why my office gets like mosquitoes. I mean, these windows are so old. Yeah, that's chapter 6 and 7, folks. Valerie, I hope you enjoyed it. Michelle, not my Michelle, but the other Michelle, I don't believe was here. Leave a comment on your thoughts on chapter 6 and 7, because chapter 6. But what was chapter 6 even about? Chapter 7 was about the scrutiny, and chapter 6 was about what? Them getting their first people. Let me actually look up Bert Leach right now. Okay. Apparently there's a couple of Bert Leaches. There's a Bert Leach Maintenance Ministry at the First Assembly of God, Bert Leach Bureau of Engraving and Printing. I don't even know how it's Bert Leach obituaries. I don't want to keep looking up more different people named Bert Leach. Bert Leach Amway, maybe? Amway Hotel Corporation? No, I don't know. Is Bert Leach not real? Bert Leach. What would be another? What were they on? Nutrition Info. Nutrition for Life International. Well, here's the thing though. Well, it's BERT. Nutritional risk associated with low back pain. Yeah, I guess I'll just try MLM. Yeah, they spelled it BERT. No. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. This is like coding. Oh yeah, this is so there's MLM is also for something in code. I'm reading a paper about coding right now. Okay, I don't know if Robert Leach, maybe. See, this research is not my strong suit. Mm, ugh, LinkedIn. Uh, IT strategic. No, he's a professor. That's not him. I just feel like who knew it would turn mysterious. I mean, there's a picture of him. 3 of them. Right? Wasn't there a picture of them? Did I imagine it? No, I didn't. There it is. Dave and I, with our sponsor, Bert Leach, BERTLEACH, at our first meeting together in direct sales as a couple, our team shirts read, "Believe it and achieve it, doubt it and go without it." Um, yeah, gotta find him. I gotta know. I gotta know who this guy is. No, he's not a U.S. prosecutor. Multi-level marketing Pinterest. Oh, what's this? Oh, guys, there's a great Pinterest called a multi-level marketing by Miriam Silva. Remember social media tips. Would you guys like some social media tips? Remember the golden rule. First comes audience. You need to listen all the time, share regularly, but promote sparingly. The days of the hard sell are long gone in social media. How to make a vision board, team building, go diamond. Attitude is everything. Why every business should blog. Facebook page checklist. Oh my God. This. All right. I can't believe any of you are still watching me just stare at my screen. So I'm going to go. Thank you for joining me. And we will continue shortly, hopefully soon. All right. Thanks for being here. You guys have a great night and go watch TV and relax because you don't have to be